A neighborhood in Palm Beach Gardens is overrun with thousands of poisonous toads, and it's in a video that has now gone viral. So experts say they are Bufo toads, which secrete a toxic poison which could be harmful to your pets or to your children. Phil Buck has been looking into what this means for you and for your family. You know, this kind of seems early in the year for us to be talking about these toads.
Right, and it is early. Generally, they breed during the summer months, but as I've done some research on these things, while this is not really in their wheelhouse, so to speak, they can breed all year long given the right conditions, which are wet conditions and some heat, which certainly we have lots of here in Florida. Now, most of these little guys, they're not going to make it, right? I mean, these swarms of these Bufo toads, most of them will die. But the ones that survive, all right, they're going to turn into these fellas, all right? And they get big. They grow up, we're talking like 9.5 inches some of these get, if you can imagine that. And that's, I mean, this is not even 9.5 inches. Actually, we have, if you can believe this or not, a global expert on Bufo toads that lives right here in the Tampa Bay area. He's studying and a professor at USF St. Petersburg. I spoke with him on the phone just a little while ago. Here's what he said about just how dangerous these guys can be.
But it is really bad if it's ingested. There are some large animals, 5 and 6 foot lizards, big snakes that die, and of course reasonable sized dogs and cats can die from just mouthing the toads.
So why are these toads then so poisonous?
Well, when they feel threatened, then they secrete this toxic venom from some of these glands. You can see they have these huge glands on the front, sort of over their front shoulders. And this venom is super poisonous. This was video that was taken by somebody here in the Tampa Bay area. The dog had ingested one of these frogs, and you can see it's drooling and twitching. This dog ended up dying from eating one of these toads. That's how poisonous these can be.
Okay, so you're sitting there going, well, what about my dog? What about my child? How do you prevent something like that from happening?
Right. Okay, so you have to know first off that some of the signs and symptoms. If you see your animal behaving that way, they may have been exposed to one of these toads. You want to wash their mouth out with a hose or with water, and you want to point their mouth down toward the ground so that none of that venom gets ingested.
Okay.
You also maybe want to even get your fingers in the mouth and rub the gums because that's going to help get any of that venom off of the gums. And also, maybe use some gloves. You definitely don't want to wash your hands because it can irritate us as well, this venom.
We could also be exposed.
Absolutely. So you're going to want to do that. The poison is harmful to humans, but you certainly don't want to get it in your eyes, in your nose, in your mouth, anything
So
like that.
you definitely have to be cautious about this as well. How do you tell the difference then between these toads and others?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, they have a doppelganger a little bit. Okay, so we have the southern toad and the giant toad, or the cane toad, or the Bufo toad. This is the poisonous one. They look very similar.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, what you want to look for are those glands. These huge glands, they're shaped like kidneys and they're right above the shoulders. That's how you identify these Bufo toad or the cane toad. And then also the southern toad, which is not toxic, by the way. This one's a little more friendly and harmless. They've got a couple ridges on their head, and they've got these big knobs that right on the top of their head as well.
So if you see that you're not looking at a Bufo toad.
You should be okay if you're looking at a southern toad, but when in doubt, steer clear. Those Bufo toads are no joke.
Yeah, better to be safe than sorry with something like this for sure.
Indeed.
Yeah.